In the vast and often unforgiving theater of the natural world, survival is a game of strategy, a delicate dance between predator and prey. While we often marvel at the spectacle of the chase, the cheetah sprinting across the savanna or the eagle stooping from the sky, there exists a far more patient, more insidious form of predation. It is a hunt that unfolds not in open spaces, but in the very ground beneath our feet. Here, in the quiet, shifting sands and the dark, loamy soil, some of nature's most ingenious engineers are at work, meticulously crafting their deadly designs. These are the pit diggers, the masters of the ambush. They do not rely on speed or overt strength, but on cunning, patience, and a profound understanding of their environment. With painstaking effort, they construct elaborate traps, turning the earth itself into an extension of their will, a deadly snare for the unwary. An unsuspecting insect, marching along its daily path, suddenly finds the ground giving way, its world collapsing into a funnel of doom, from which there is little hope of escape. The strategies employed by these creatures are among the most fascinating hunting techniques I have ever had the privilege to observe. They represent a remarkable convergence of evolution, where different species across different continents and climates have arrived at a similar, brilliantly effective solution to the challenge of capturing a meal. Today we shall journey into these miniature arenas of life and death, to witness the quiet, calculated, and utterly ruthless artistry of the animals that dig. Our first architect of ambush is a creature of two lives, but it is in its youth that its true genius for predation is revealed. This is the larva of the antlion, known to many as the doodlebug. It makes its home in the driest, most friable soils, in the shelter of overhanging rocks or at the base of a sun-baked tree. Here it begins its patient work, not with grand gestures, but with a simple, repeated flick of its head. It walks backwards in a slow, deliberate spiral, using its flat head and powerful jaws as a tiny shovel, tossing grains of sand aside with remarkable precision. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a perfect cone begins to take shape in the landscape. The sides are engineered to be at the precise angle of repose for loose sand, a critical angle of instability. Any disturbance, however slight, will trigger a miniature avalanche. At the very bottom of this inverted cone, buried with only its formidable sickle-like jaws protruding, the antlion larva waits. It is a living trigger, a patient monster in a world of grains, perfectly still, conserving every ounce of energy for the moment its trap is sprung. For hours, even days, it can remain motionless, a testament to the power of patience. And then, it happens. An ant busy on its tireless foraging mission steps onto the treacherous rim. The sand gives way. The ant scrabbles for purchase, its tiny legs churning uselessly against the shifting slope. Its frantic movements only hasten its descent towards the vortex. Should it somehow manage to halt its slide, the antlion, sensing the vibrations, unleashes its secret weapon. With flicks of its head, it hurls grains of sand upwards, creating a relentless bombardment that dislodges the struggling victim, ensuring its inevitable tumble into the waiting jaws below. The struggle is brief. The trap has fulfilled its deadly purpose. We move now from the open, shifting sands to the more stable earth of woodlands and grasslands, the domain of a far more secretive hunter. Hidden from view, beneath a perfectly camouflaged lid, lies the burrow of the trapdoor spider. This is not merely a hole in the ground, it is a masterpiece of engineering and concealment. The spider excavates a vertical tube with its powerful fangs and pedipalps, lining the walls with a mixture of soil and silk to prevent collapse. The true marvel, however, is the door itself, a tightly fitting plug of soil, vegetation, and silk beveled to sit flush with the surrounding terrain. This door, hinged on one side with a tough band of silk, becomes an almost invisible part of the forest floor. Moss, lichen, or dirt from the immediate vicinity are woven into its surface, making it virtually undetectable to the naked eye. The spider, its 8 eyes peering from the darkness within, waits just below the entrance. It is a life of near total darkness and profound patience, attuned not to sight, but to the subtle tremors of the world above. It has spun a series of silken tripwires, radiating outwards from the burrow's entrance, each one a delicate extension of its own senses. When a beetle, a cricket, or some other unsuspecting invertebrate wanders across these invisible lines, the vibration travels instantly to the spider's waiting legs. In a flash, a fraction of a second, the placid patch of earth erupts. The door flies open, the spider lunges out, its fangs injecting a potent, fast-acting venom. The prey is seized and dragged down into the silent depths of the burrow before it even has a chance to register the attack. The silk-hinged door swings shut, and the forest floor is once again still, betraying no sign of the life and death drama that just unfolded beneath it. Deep within the sandy deserts of Western Australia lives one of the continent's most enigmatic and seldom seen creatures. It is a mammal, but one that has entirely surrendered to a life beneath the soil. This is the marsupial mole, or ichirichari, as it is known to the local Aboriginal people. With its silky golden fur, vestigial eyes that are little more than pigmented spots beneath the skin, and a tough, horny shield on its nose, it is exquisitely adapted for swimming through the sand. It doesn't create permanent burrows like many fossorial animals. Instead, the tunnel collapses in its wake as it moves. This creature is not just a digger, it is a subterranean hunter. Its world is one of darkness, pressure, and vibration, and its senses are tuned accordingly. It forages tirelessly through the loose sand, searching for the larvae of beetles, witchetty grubs, and other invertebrates that share its underground realm. It is a constant, roving predator, an ambush hunter in perpetual motion. It doesn't build a single static trap, but rather its entire method of locomotion is a form of mobile ambush, allowing it to intercept its prey in their own tunnels and chambers. The marsupial mole's technique is a testament to how life will adapt to fill every conceivable niche. Lacking functional sight, it relies on an acute sense of hearing and touch to detect the faint rustlings of its prey. When a grub is located, the mole's powerful spade-like claws go to work with incredible speed, closing the distance in a flurry of sand. The hunt is swift and efficient, a silent encounter in the dark heart of the desert. This ghost of the undergrowth is a powerful reminder that even in the most seemingly barren of landscapes, a complex and ruthless food web is constantly at play, hidden just beneath the surface. The strategy of the conical pit trap is so successful that evolution has, it seems, invented it more than once. We return to the world of insects, but this time our subject is not the larva of a lacewing, but of a fly. This is the worm lion, the larval stage of a family of flies known as Vermilionidae. At a glance, its handiwork is strikingly similar to that of the antlion. In dusty, sheltered locations, it too constructs a small funnel-shaped pit. The mechanics are slightly different. It uses muscular contractions of its body to thrash about and excavate, but the result is the same, a perfect, deadly trap. The worm lion itself is a slender, legless maggot, a far cry from the brutish appearance of the antlion larva. It waits at the bottom of its pit, but instead of burying itself completely, it often anchors its rear end, arching its body like a taut spring, its head ready to strike. The principle of the trap remains unchanged. The steep, unstable slopes ensure that any small creature, like a springtail or a tiny ant that stumbles over the edge, will find itself on an express journey to the bottom. The slightest struggle only dislodges more fine particles, making escape a near impossibility. Once the prey tumbles within reach, the worm lion strikes with astonishing speed. It hooks the victim with its mouth parts and injects paralyzing venom and digestive enzymes. A process that begins to liquefy the prey's insides even before it is fully subdued. It is a chillingly efficient system, a miniature parallel to the grander designs of spiders and snakes. The existence of the worm lion demonstrates a powerful principle in the natural world: convergent evolution. When a design works, nature is more than happy to repeat it, sculpting different lineages of life into remarkably similar forms to solve the same fundamental problem of survival. Our final pit digger is perhaps the most audacious of them all, a hunter that lies in wait in plain sight. This is the larva of the tiger beetle, a creature whose adult form is known for its incredible speed and iridescent beauty. But as a grub, it is a stationary and monstrous predator. It digs a perfectly vertical, cylindrical burrow, sometimes extending deep into the compacted soil of a path or riverbank. The larva, with its armored head and enormous upward-curving jaws, positions itself at the very top of this tunnel, its flattened head capsule acting as a living plug, sitting flush with the ground surface. To the casual observer, there is nothing there but a patch of earth. But this patch of earth is the face of a killer. The larva anchors itself firmly within its tunnel, using a series of hooks on its back, preventing it from being pulled out by struggling prey. It then waits, its senses on high alert for the slightest shadow or vibration. It is a hair-trigger ambush, a landmine of flesh and chitin. Its patience is absolute, its readiness total. It can hold this position for an extraordinary length of time, a living cork in a bottle of death. When an ant, a spider, or any other suitable prey walks over the plugged entrance, the larva explodes into action. In an instant, it lunges upwards, its huge, sickle-like mandibles snapping shut with incredible force and speed. The prey is impaled and immediately dragged down into the darkness of the vertical shaft, where it will be consumed at the larva's leisure. There is no chase, no struggle on the surface, just a sudden, brutal disappearance. It is a hunt defined by a single, perfectly timed and utterly lethal strike from below, a final startling example of how the ground itself can become the ultimate hunting accessory. From the shifting funnel of the antlion to the camouflage door of the spider and the vertical shaft of the tiger beetle larva, we have seen how the earth itself can be forged into a weapon. These creatures, through millions of years of evolutionary refinement, have turned their physical limitations into their greatest strengths. They have eschewed the chase, embracing instead a strategy of patience, engineering, and explosive surprise. They are a testament to the sheer diversity of solutions that life can conjure to the fundamental challenge of acquiring food. Each of these hunters has become a master of its own tiny domain, transforming a simple patch of ground into a highly sophisticated and deadly arena. Their methods prove that in the grand struggle for survival, success does not always belong to the swiftest or the strongest, but often to the most cunning and the most patient. The world beneath our feet is not a placid, static thing. It is alive with these hidden dramas, these miniature masterpieces of predatory architecture where the slightest misstep can lead to oblivion. The animal kingdom is filled with such incredible hunters, each with its own unique and fascinating strategy. We have only explored a handful of those that use the ground as their accomplice. Now, I invite you to share your own favorites. Which animal hunter do you find the most captivating? Is it a creature of stealth, speed, or sheer power? Let us know in the comments below and continue the celebration of the endless ingenuity of life on our planet.